Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Digital Underground, on this Saturday, May March 16th, 2024, and this show starts right now. What's good, everybody? It's Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy Anthony Floyo. We most likely will not have Michael Bullock here with us tonight. If we do, great. If we don't, then we probably will see him tomorrow for the NCAA selection special. What is there to say right now? Uh, you want to talk about some chaos? We got chaos at the top of the line. Houston going down. North Carolina just fell. And it might have just opened the door for the reigning, defending national champions, UConn, to now possibly be the number one overall seed when the tournament gets revealed tomorrow. For the first time in 37 years, NC State, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, channeling the days of Jim Valvano, have won the ACC tournament, just happening just moments ago in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's gonna be red and white of the NC State Wolfpack that's gonna be painted in the nation's capital this evening. They get to cut down the nets as the Atlantic Coast Conference winners. So they get the automatic bid. That means if there was a team that was hoping to get in, that was on the bubble, well, you just lost the spot, folks. Sorry for that. Not a good day for the bubble teams. A team that probably in this tournament was most likely wasn't going to get in it, just got in. Knocked off North Carolina, knocked off Duke to get to the championship, and they handled their business. 5 wins by NC State to get them the ACC crown. My goodness. Oh my, the upset in Charlotte, indeed. An upset in the Queen Cities, and NC State, the Wolfpack, has captured the ACC tournament crown, and more importantly, the automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. My goodness, what a night. All right. So, with that said, we're just gonna start off, and we will do what we need to do. And just give me one moment. Okay, there we go. All right. So, with that said, let's just dive right on in. So, we got to start it off with Smackdown Live, per the usual. Smackdown Live, of course, was held last night in Memphis, Tennessee. So, with that said, we started off with The Rock doing the concert. It wasn't really promoted by the fans. It was more of we knew about it during the week, but it wasn't really anything that really had anybody talking. But we did have the Rock concert, and let me tell you, if you were not entertained by this concert, I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to say or to think. It was funny. It was witty. He took shots at Cody Rhodes. He took shots at Seth Rollins. He went a little personal, talked about Cody's mama. And you can tell it definitely was what it needed it to be. It was enjoyable. It was funny. It was good. It served its purpose. Let's say that. It was strong for the crowd. They enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. there's really nothing more for me to say. Anthony Florio, it is yours. The Rock concert. Was it everything that you were hoping for and then some? What says you?
Well, I'll tell you, MF. The song was the usual array of jokes you would expect from Rocky. He made some sex puns, called Cody Rhodes a mistake, and mocked Seth Rollins for having a successful wife. Once his song was over, the Great One showed some clips of Cody Rhodes slapping him and crying while talking about his mother. Was this entertaining? Yes, especially if you like The Rock. Did it need to be over 20 minutes? Absolutely not. Did it add anything to the story? Not really. Did the live crowd have fun with it? Most definitely. This segment was decent, but it's just another in a long line of Rock segments that could have accomplished all the same things in half the time. The shirts and the vests Rocky has been wearing lately may be a callback to his original run in WWE, but they are also perfect for his current egotistical boss gimmick. The Rock is entertaining, but singing is not his strongest quality. He's not awful, but he sounds more like your uncle singing karaoke than a guy who was supposed to lead a Disney musical. And The Rock called himself the final boss. I mean, it was enjoyable. It was fun, and this was the one crowd where The Rock didn't, unleash hell on. I mean, he unleashed, he went full on heel everywhere else he went, but it's obvious that Memphis, Tennessee holds a very special place in The Rock's heart. I mean, I guess that's where The Rock started his career under the name of Flex Cabana. And, he took it easy on the people of Memphis, and they in turn took it easy on him. But then he finally did get the heel. When he brought up the weight belt that The Rock had from his latest social media promo that he cut yesterday, an 8-minute promo he cut, and he said he was going to take that belt and he was going to beat Cody like a dog in front of his mother at WrestleMania, and he said that he was going to give that belt to the Cody's mother. And so The Rock has clearly been the star of this whole thing. I mean, he's been the star of the entire story. I mean, the other three guys are like second fiddles. But the thing is, Cody's going to have a chance because next Friday night in Milwaukee, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are going to be face to face. So hopefully this is where Cody will, start to show that fire, and that, because there's a lot of people that are getting tired of seeing the emotional side of Cody Rhodes. They want to see the fire. They want to see the passion, the anger, the determination. That's what they want to see. And in a sense, that's what I want to see too. So hopefully Friday night, unless they do something on Monday, I don't know. But for right now, I need to see more. I need to see a little bit more out of Cody, and they're making this tag team match seem like a bigger deal than the main event of night 2. I mean, Cody and Roman night 2, that's supposed to be the main event, the championship match, the biggest attraction. I don't know if they're doing this by design or what they're doing with this, but at least we're finally gonna get something with Cody and Roman out of this. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm hoping that Cody, will. I mean, I don't mind the emotion, but like Eddie Guerrero with Chris Benoit, I want to see that fire, man. That's what I want to see. So, and hopefully, come Friday night, we'll get just that in the face-to-face with Roman. But other than that, MF, great. This was a great way to start it off. It was a fun way to start, and the Rock concert, always a fun experience, and those fans in Memphis definitely ate it up, and we'll see where the story goes from here. So with that being said, MF, let's move on to our first match of the night with Mania implications.
Yes, it does. It is the LWO versus Legado del Fantasma. It was Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild versus Angel Garza and Norberto Carrillo, and it was Legado del Fantasma. They are advancing to WrestleMania. They win it in 9 minutes and 31 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
All right. Let me explain the WrestleMania implications here. Angel and Humberto took on Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild in a WrestleMania qualifier to see which team would get to compete in the six-pack challenge ladder match for the undisputed tag team titles. These four men not only know each other well from the LWO Legado del Fantasma feud, but they are also four of the most versatile high flyers in WWE. This was a fast-paced bout with a lot of fun moves and moments sprinkled in. This was strong from start to finish and ended with Angel and Berto getting the win after Berto propelled Del Toro into the air so Angel could kick him on the way down. This is the kind of tag team wrestling that will help get the division back on track. Del Toro's Hurricanrana looked awesome. Wild almost went past Humberto with a dive out of the ring because he flew so far. First, he lost his last name, Carrillo, and now Humberto is just called Berto. He could simply be known as B come 2025. And the double press slam from the middle top rope from Angel and Berto was a great spot. Del Toro sold it perfectly. So nothing left for me to say here. So solid 3 to 3.25 stars for this one. So MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was a solid 3. I thought they did a really good job. I think could have been better in certain elements. Yeah, I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, I thought they did a good job. I thought they kind of gave us what we wanted and what we expected it to be. So yeah, nothing more to say. And Anthony, let's just move right on along. Next up on this show. Hang on. All right. After that, we had ourselves a lot of promo stuff. All right. Randy Orton versus Grayson Waller. Randy Orton wins the match in 7 minutes and 20 seconds. It was a solid fight. It was still about maybe you could say about 2 to 2.5 stars. And then at the end of the match, of course, you kind of try to get the interference and everything else. Logan Paul was out there. You had Austin Theory, at the end. Then you had Kevin Owens come out. Nick Aldis came out, and he dropped the big announcement that it was going to be Logan Paul putting the United States Heavyweight Championship on the line against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens in a triple threat match for the United States Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. So, obviously, this was expected. We knew it was going to be a multi-man match. It was a little bit like they did what they needed to do. So, fine. Owens gets another shot at Logan Paul. Logan Paul's been dealing with Randy Orton lately. He's been getting under the skin of Orton lately, going in after what happened after the paper, once it led to what happened on once it happened at Elimination Chamber, where Orton eliminated Logan Paul, and then Paul came back illegally, knocking out Randy Orton with the brass knucks, and that gave Drew McIntyre the opening to win the match, and more importantly, go to WrestleMania to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. Orton's been wanting to get his hands for Retribution because of that. Now we get it at the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the Immortals at WrestleMania in Philadelphia at the Link. So 2 to 2.5 stars. Anthony Florio, it's yours, my brother.
Yes, sir. All right. So Waller had Austin Theory in his corner for a singles match against Orton last night. Before the match, Logan Paul asked General Manager Nick Aldis to punish Randy Orton for attacking his business partner last week. As the match was about to begin, Paul came out to watch in person. His presence definitely helped distract the Viper so Waller could get in some cheap shots early on and slam his head into the announce table when they took the fight out of the ring. While everything they did looked good, this bout felt a bit paint by numbers. You could almost predict each move before it happened. It's not uncommon in pro wrestling and does not mean the match was bad. It just wasn't especially exciting either. Randy Orton got the win with his patented RKO, but his celebration was over quickly. Theory took him down with a chop block and held him so Paul could attack, but KO ran down to make the save before Orton took the hit. KO and Orton almost had a miscommunication, but ended up working together to take out Theory. The match itself was nothing special, but a few fun moments helped make the segment better. Let's see. LA Knight challenged AJ Styles to a match at WrestleMania. Styles attacked him with a chair and accepted the match. We only got one match in the first hour. This began right at the start of the second hour. The way Theory took a stunner and an RKO right in a row looked awesome. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. So, MF, let's move on to our next match.
All right, and with that said, we do have the next match, as it was Santos Escobar against Dragon Lee. Santos Escobar winning the match in 2 minutes and 1 second. Unfortunately, we will cut this one out. There's really not much for us to talk about on that one. But the thing is, with the next match that we will talk about, this one does have high implications because this one gives us a ticket to WrestleMania. The New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, going up against, yes, boys, Pretty Deadly. When it's all said and done, it's no, boys. You're not going to WrestleMania. New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne, the big strong, and the Bruiserweight and the big strong boy has punched their tickets to Philadelphia. They're going to WrestleMania at 11 minutes and 24 seconds. Anthony Florio, for me, I'm happy. I love Pete Dunne. I love Tyler Bate. It would have been a travesty to see Pretty Deadly at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. They're not quite there yet. These tag team matches were for the opportunity to compete, but I think that I remember them saying brackets. Apparently, there's going to be brackets, I guess, and whoever comes out of this is going to go to Mania here, because this really threw me off here. Participants of the WrestleMania six-pack ladder match are decided by qualifying matches on SmackDown and Raw. The SmackDown matches are organized in multiple distinct tournament-style brackets, with the final team remaining in each bracket punching their tickets to Philadelphia. The Street Profits are slated to take on the Authors of Pain next week, while the OC will battle for a spot at WrestleMania against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Things are simpler on Raw, where the remaining three participants will be determined via basic qualifying matches. Each Raw team will only need a single win to advance to WrestleMania, while the SmackDown teams need two. So that's the story. I think these two winners will meet next. Will meet in the future, and the winner of that match goes to Mania, and then we'll see about the other two. But very, very complicated, I know. But for this was to me the fight of the night here. 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5 stars. The first part of the bout was brief before we got another commercial break. Both teams got into some offense, but Pretty Deadly, having a significant size advantage, led to them controlling most of the pace. All four men did a great job making this feel like a competitive bout, even with the time restrictions. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne were able to win, which got them one step closer to WrestleMania. Let's see, Bate and Dunne have a great tag team finisher, and how much do you want to bet that The Rock went long like he always does, and time had to be cut from some of these matches here? But other than that, this was to me the fight of the night. 3 1/4 to 3.5 stars. So they have a date with Berto and Angel sometime down the line, and I believe whoever wins that match will go to that 6-pack match at Mania. Next week, like I said, you got the Street Profits against the AOP. And you got the Good Brothers going up against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So those two winners will then have a match, and whoever wins that match will then go to WrestleMania. The Raw side, we're going to have 3 winners come Monday night, and we'll get into that. But for right now, 3 1/4, 3.5, fight of the night for me. So, MF, your thoughts?
3.25 is my rating. I thought they did a really good job. I don't think there's really not much for us to talk about here. At the end of the day, they did everything that they needed it to do, and yeah, um, for, for what it's worth, I thought they did a good job. So yeah, um, it leads us to the main event, a women's matchup, as it was Bailey going 1-on-1 with Dakota Kai. Bailey wins the match in 7 minutes and 32 seconds via disqualification. Damage Control hits the ring to attack Bailey to, you could say in a way, try to take her out of WrestleMania, but it didn't work because you know what? Look, off of what happened about a week ago, there was a backstage promo, as you know, where Bianca and Naomi were talking about the Bailey situation. You know, Bianca's like, look, she made her bed, she's out of lie in it. Remember, she was torturing me with Damage Control about a year ago. You got no idea what's been really going on, the whole 9 yards. And at the end of the day, you know, the one person who felt horrible about the situation was Naomi. Naomi is like, you know what? I feel bad for her. I know about what it's like to be betrayed by your own friends and whatnot. And she's like, you know what? I want to stick up for her. And she did. She ran out to attack and to help Bailey. So there is at least one person who's got loyalty and friendship on her mind. So really nothing more to say. Solid main event. I think about maybe 2.5, close to 3, but more 2.5 than anything else. So Anthony, it is all yours.
Yeah, 2.5 for me here as well. Last night's main event saw former teammates turned enemies do battle when Bailey and Dakota Kai stepped into the ring. These two went from being best friends to bitter enemies, and with Bailey challenging Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 40, Dakota Kai was looking to soften her up. Damage Control got involved a bit, but Bailey still managed to overcome the numbers game. Kai ended up getting disqualified, and Naomi showed up to try to make the save. Naomi's efforts were for naught, and Damage Control held Bailey up by her arms and legs so Io could hit a suspended moonsault to end the show. Most of this was solid pro wrestling, but the DQ finish is not the ideal way to end a main event. It's so nice to see Bailey getting cheered again. She was an outstanding heel, but she is too likable to keep her as a villain forever. And Bailey hit a running knee that looked stiff in a good way. Dakota Kai sold it well. And Bailey's counter into a powerbomb was a good spot. So 2.5 for me. Overall review. Last night's Smackdown was one of those shows that was likely a great live experience, but had a few issues that came through on the broadcast. The Rock taking up so much time whenever he is on screen is becoming an issue. Sure, he is entertaining and gets reactions, but you can see where matches are being trimmed to make up for it. The bout between Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee could have been a show-stealing performance, and the tag match between Pretty Deadly and New Catch Republic started abruptly during a commercial. But on the plus side, we got some storyline developments, some solid wrestling action, a few entertaining non-wrestling segments, and another RKO for Randy Orton to add to his ever-growing highlight reel. It's a hard show to rate because most of what we got was great, but the negatives were a bit too big to ignore. However, though, we did get 3 new matches added to WrestleMania. You got Logan Paul now defending the United States Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match against both Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. You now also have LA Knight versus AJ Styles. And you also have brother versus brother, Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso. That's going to happen at Mania also. So the Mania card now up to 10 overall matches. And 7 of them have yet to be confirmed for which night. Only 3 are confirmed. And they're all and they're the 3 biggies, the 3 big ones, the 3 biggest matches of them all. We know that on night 1, and this will very likely be the main event, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, with those huge implications for the Cody Roman title match the following night. Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, World Heavyweight Championship. That's on night 2. As is the main event, Roman Reigns defending the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes in what will either be a straight-up one-on-one match if Cody and Seth somehow find a way to win, or it'll be under Bloodline rules should The Rock and Roman win, which I think they will. But we'll have to wait and find out. But all the other matches, we got to find out which night they'll be on. And I'm sure soon enough they'll let us know. I know Papa H loves that long-term booking. So, we got 3 Raws and we got 3 Smackdowns left before we get to the Illidale. So soon enough, we got to find nights for those 7 remaining bouts. So 7.5. That's the best I can give this show from last night. So not much more to say here. MF WrestleMania 40 taking shape. 10. We got 10 matches now. 7 need a night. Well, the 3 big ones already have nights.
Yeah. And the thing is that because of the fact that they are focusing on it being a more earlier night. Remember, it's starting at 7 p.m. at WrestleMania this time around. Traditionally, it would be at 8 o'clock. This time around, we are starting it at 7 p.m. So you want to talk about elevating the show. This is getting elevated exponentially as we're heading into WrestleMania. Obviously, more matches possibly could be announced. We'll wait and see. But at the end of the day, we will find out. All right. So let's shift gears as we now go to AEW Collision. This one was from Ontario, Canada at the Canada Tire Center. And we started out with Shibata from New Japan Pro Wrestling going up against the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And it was Bryan Danielson winning the match in 19 minutes and 10 seconds. Easily one of the best fights of the evening. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star for this matchup. It was a hair under 20 minutes, but it didn't matter. This was an incredible matchup. The fight was back and forth. This was exactly what you would expected from Shibata and from Bryan Danielson. This was hard hitting, in your face, great wrestling psychology all the way through. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, we could easily talk about it. One of the fights of the night. This was amazing. 3.5 to 3 3/4. If you want to make an argument for 4, I don't got no argument.
Oh no, you severely underscored this one, MF. This was amazing. This wasn't one of the fights of the night. This was the fight of the night for me. You know my love of this kind of wrestling. You know how much I love the technical, scientific chain wrestling. You know how much I love it. And these two put on a masterclass here tonight. This was easily 4.25 to 4.5 stars. This was wow. And I'll tell you why. This match accomplished 2 things at once. It both lived up to its potential and left room to grow in any future encounters. That is a fine line to walk, especially with 2 stars as lauded for their skills as these guys. But they did it beautifully. Shibata survived a running knee and a label lock. After several more great exchanges, Danielson was able to pin Shibata with a modified crucifix. Simply put, this match ruled, and you need to see it if you didn't. They shook hands and hugged before celebrating in front of a standing ovation from the Ottawa faithful. And like MF said, this show tonight, Danielson and Shibata kicked off tonight's show with what was a dream match for many. Both of these men thought they would have to retire due to injuries and returned against the odds. So this bout was almost an impossibility for a long time. And they started off with some very methodical technical exchanges. They mainly focused on holds and counters for the first few minutes, but they eventually started testing each other with kicks. And by the time we returned from the commercial break, they had progressed from feeling each other out to a full-blown fight. Shibata beat the American Dragon down in the corner with a flurry of strikes. And what else can I say except for this? Few people carry themselves with the level of confidence Bryan Danielson has. He's not flashy like The Rock or as outspoken as Eddie Kingston. but he has a look about him that says he knows he is one of the best. The way Danielson was not able to lock in the surfboard, so he settled for a double knee stomp, was great. The standoff they had in the corner was a cool moment. This bout had one of the cleanest suplexes over the top rope to the floor. And two men sitting down in the ring got a holy bleep chant. That's got to be a first. So, yeah, MF, with all due respect, you severely underscored this one. 4 1/4, 4 1/2, and for me, the fight of the night. Well done, gentlemen. That was a masterclass right there. So there isn't much more to say here. MF, we don't often get championship matches on Collision, but we got one here tonight in the form of the TBS Championship. And this one actually had implications for a match later in the night. We rarely get that here on Collision. So 4 1/4, 4 1/2 for me. MF, let's move on to that TBS title matchup. MF, are you there? Oh, okay. I'm guessing MF had to step away for something, but I do have some breaking news from the world of the conference tournaments. The Oregon Ducks have just won the Pac-12 tournament. They have defeated the Colorado Buffaloes 75-68, and you can now add Oregon to the NCAA tournament field for 2024. And of course, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. over on my channel, the Tone 25, we are going to have the live selection special, and we're going to unveil the pairings and the seedings and the pairings as they happen. So you do not want to miss that. And I am beyond excited for that show tomorrow night. And you gotta love March Madness here. And Oregon just punched their ticket. They knocked off Colorado 75-68. So they advance now to the tournament. We'll see where they end up tomorrow night. And MF is back in. So with that, MF, like I said, for the Shibata and Brian, easily the fight of the night. You underscored it. 4 1/4, 4 1/2 is the correct rating, I strongly feel. And we move on to a TBS championship match with some implications for a match later in the show.
Yeah, we had Julia Hart putting the title on the line against Trish Aurora. And Julia Hart won the match. She won it 7 minutes and 40 seconds. So Anthony, give me a quick thought. Julia Hart successfully defended the title.
Yeah, MF. Like I said, there was implications here. The TBS title was on the line in the first of 2 infantry versus House of Black matches when Julia Hart battled Trish Adora. This bout would also determine which woman would be allowed at ringside for the tag match with their men later in the show. Adora used her size and power to take control early, but Hart's vicious style of offense allowed her to take over after she regained her footing. After a commercial break, Hart hit a textbook moonsault for the win. Solid match, but it was going to be impossible for anyone to follow Danielson and Shibata. They did a great job under the circumstances. Hart keeps adding little details to her entrance over time. Adora's seated double arm submission is a good move. The hit Adora took into the barricade sounded nasty. And the way Julia Hart used both legs to stomp Adora into the mat in the corner was awesome. So 2.5, somewhere between 2.5 and 2 3/4 of a star. So Julia Hart will be allowed at ringside with her men, the House of Black, when they go up against the men of the infantry in that tag team tournament qualifier match. So we'll get into that later on. So 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. So MF, predictable outcome, but solid match nonetheless.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Predictable outcome, but it was indeed a solid match. So we got nothing more to say. We just moved right on along. The next thing that we did have, it was about 2.5 stars. Then we had Daniel Garcia versus Lee Moriarty. Daniel Garcia winning the match in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. guess you could say maybe 2 stars. It was a little too short for my liking. I don't think there's really much for me to say here. It just served its purpose. Nothing more to say. And Florio, it's yours.
5 minutes and how many
15
seconds?
seconds.
5:15. Okay. Another 2.5. Tale of two matches here. I mean, Danielson and Shibata gave us a match between two skilled veterans. The third bout tonight gave us a showdown between two young talents who will likely be as respected as those men, with Daniel Garcia against Lee Moriarty. They wasted no time trying to test each other. Both men were trying to win quickly and used several different submissions and strikes in an attempt to put the other down. They had some incredible sequences showing off their technical and striking ability, but it was Garcia who came away with a victory after using a heel hook to make Moriarty tap out. Moriarty's tope suicida looked fantastic. The camera angle was perfect, and that's really all I can say on that. So a solid 2.5. So with that being said, MF, let's move on to the next match.
All right. Unfortunately, on this one, we got a couple of cutouts that we're going to have to call here. So the first cutout we got was Pac versus Aaron Solo. Pac winning the match in 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Then after that, this one is a relevant match we'll talk about, as it was Claudio Castagnoli versus Lance Archer. Claudio Castagnoli winning the match via disqualification in 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
Well, you went a little too fast for me, MF. Where are we going?
Claudio
and Archer?
Yes. 11-10.
Okay. Yes. This was an all right. Now, I talked about Danielson and Shibata being my special, being a Tony special. MF, this was an MF special. This was a be a man fight. And Claudio Castagnoli is not used to facing many men who are both taller and stronger than him. But that was the case tonight when he battled Lance Archer. They went back and forth for a long time, almost trading moves one for one as they tried to get the upper hand. Archer is a bruiser, while Castagnoli is a more well-rounded competitor. But the Murderhawk Monster did a great job making sure he was not outshined. In fact, this was Archer's most competitive AEW singles bout we have seen in a long time. He reminded a lot of people that he is more versatile than he appears. This was an enjoyable match that ended in an unfortunate disqualification when the Righteous attacked Castagnoli, and then Danielson and Shibata eventually made the save. Nigel McGuinness on commentary made a direct reference to how Castagnoli won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 30. A man like Archer hitting a cannonball from the apron has to be an intimidating thing to see flying at you. And MF, I know how much you love the Cesaro swing. Swinging around a guy the size of Lance Archer takes an insane amount of power. But then again, this is Claudio we're talking about, who's not human, as we know. So for him to do that to a guy the size of Archer, how can you not be impressed with that? So 3 1/4, 3.5. I could probably say this was the second best fight of the night for me. So with that being said, MF, we move on to a man wrestling his first match in quite some time, and it's great to see him back after what could have been a career-threatening injury for him.
Could have been a career-threatening injury. It was Kyle O'Reilly going one-on-one with Brian Keith, and it was Kyle O'Reilly winning the match in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. So, Anthony, it's yours.
I think I may have to do a little rescinding here. I think that last match was maybe the third best fight of the night. I got to say this maybe was the second right here. This was about 3 1/4, 3.5 as well. So let me break it down for you. Kyle O'Reilly was back in action in a collision ring tonight in a match against Brian Keith. Kyle O'Reilly looked excited to be locking up as they got going. This was a hard-hitting fight with a big focus on strikes from both men. O'Reilly is a well-known striker, so the bounty hunter was doing his best to keep up. With Kyle O'Reilly recently returning from a long injury hiatus, nobody came into this expecting him to lose. Predictability is common in pro wrestling, but when two stars can still make it feel like a tough fight, it's easier to forgive a finish you can see coming from a mile away. Both men worked their butts off to make this a fun show for the crowd. O'Reilly wins with an armbar that Tony Schiavone called the Armageddon. And then the Undisputed Kingdom came out to celebrate with O'Reilly. The longer hair suits O'Reilly. And Brian Keats' kick to counter a leapfrog was a fun moment, but O'Reilly following up with a simple slap was even better. And Keats' powerbomb was awesome. 3 1/4, 3 1/2. This was the second best fight of the night for me. Claudio and Archer was third. So, MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This was incredible. There's really nothing more to say here. This was, like you said, 3 1/4, 3 1/2. Excellent matchup to say the very least. So now it's time to get going. And here we go. So next up, this was the main event, as it was Carly Bravo and Sean Dean going up against Brody King and Buddy Matthews. House of Black versus the Infantry. And this was it for the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament wild card match. And when it was all said and done, it was the Infantry knocking off the House of Black. They earned the wild card spot. So they are in the for the vacated tag team titles. I gotta call this somewhat of an upset. In 7 minutes and 45 seconds, I gotta call this somewhat of an upset. I don't think, and when you really thought about it, with Julia Hart out there, with everything that was going on, you would have thought House of Black was going to win this match. Brody King and Buddy Matthews, you would think, oh, they're going to get this, they're going to win, they'll probably get the ticket into the tag team tournament. No, they gave it to the Infantry. They let them go over. They're in the tournament. And now you got to start wondering, you're like, what is going on with AEW booking? Why are they allowed, like, Buddy Matthews and Brody King, like, what do they need to do to get through? It's like, I don't know. I'm kind of a little annoyed right now. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy the Infantry won. I'm happy they go through. They overcame the odds. But if you're Buddy Matthews, if you're Brody King, what the hell? And Malachi Black, I'm feeling the same way about that too. The only person that's getting any headway in the House of Black has been Julia Hart. She's has the biggest momentum. She's got she's got everything going for her. Yet her running mates, her buddies, they're stuck in neutral right now in AEW. Florio, it's yours.
2.5 for me here. This delivered a genuinely surprising result and furthered Mark Briscoe's feud with the House of Black at the same time. Julia Hart won the right to be at ringside by defeating Trish Adora earlier in the show. Sean Dean and Carly Bravo have changed their gimmick a bit. They still use their military background, but they have begun dressing flashier and showing more charisma. And Brody King looks like he's slimmed down a bit. He's moving a little quicker also. But solid 2.5. A major upset here. Huge win for the Infantry. And now the Infantry will be squaring off against FTR in the upcoming AEW Tag Team Title Tournament, and the finals of which will take place next month at the Dynasty pay-per-view on April 21. So there's the story on that. So this was 2.5, like I said. Major upset here. Biggest win for the Infantry. Big question is, can they keep it going against FTR? I don't know. But if they could put him over House of Black, you never freaking know. So, MF, I know you may not like the result, but you know what? How about a little unpredictability in professional wrestling at times here? This is one of the rare times we get unpredictability. So we were all thinking, oh, House of Black should win this thing, no problem. They threw a curveball. Tony Khan and crew threw us a curveball here tonight.
Oh, they threw a hard, that curveball was hard. No doubt about it.
Indeed. So, Bullock, how much Bullock and I love unpredictability, and we actually got some here. So Big win for the infantry. But now, I mean, you thought having to face House of Black was bad. Now you got to deal with FTR. Good luck, boys. You're going to need it. 2.5. And we move on to a rare main event in-ring segment with Adam Copeland. And as Bullock and I say, MF, angry Adam Copeland is the best Adam Copeland.
Yeah, he was very angry. All right. I really got nothing bad to say. I thought they did a really good job with this one. So yeah, you said it. He cut it a promo. Anthony, give me your thoughts. You know, you lead off on this anyway. This is your segment.
Yeah. And tonight's collision ended with Adam Copeland giving a promo and introducing us to Spike, a 2x4 with nails sticking out. And he said that Mick Foley gave him the idea. And, well, MF, it's not the first time we've seen anything like this. I think we can all remember going back to TNA, the days of Janice. Abyss.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
But this is now known as Spike. And I got a feeling we're going to be seeing Spike as part of that I Quit match with Copeland and Christian Cage for the TNT Championship this Wednesday night on what's going to be a humongous Dynamite. I mean, you thought the show from Boston was loaded? This show from Toronto, MF, on Wednesday is going to be even more loaded, I think. So that show on Wednesday night in Toronto is damn near it's a damn near pay-per-view the way they booked it. So I cannot wait. And there's going to be a live Rampage after that because of NCAA tournament coverage.
Yes.
Wow. How about that, huh? So unreal. So, it's like Michael Bullock and I always say, whether he's Adam Copeland or whether he's the Rated R Superstar Edge, Angry Adam Copeland, whatever you want to call him, is the best Adam Copeland. And that same fire and intensity that he showed tonight, I want to see that. I want to see that same fire and intensity out of Cody Rhodes this upcoming week on TVs, Raw or SmackDown, especially the face-to-face with Roman. So that's all I can say on that. So, fine segment to close it out. So MF, quick thought before we get to the final word.
No, I think they did a really good job. I don't think there was anything bad about it. I think we could have talked about different ways that this could have played out, but I thought all in all, it was a good way to start the show. So I thought it was a solid match, and great way to close the show. Overall review, I'd say about 7.5 to 8 out of 10. I thought they did a really good job. I think it was exactly what it needed it to be. So it was still fine for what it was worth. Really nothing more to add. Anthony Florio, this is all yours. I thought it was a solid collision. I
agree. That's the exact same rating that I was going to give MF. Great minds think alike here. So 7.5 to 8 out of 10. This was one of the best episodes of Collision from an in-ring perspective we've seen in quite some time. Every single match was enjoyable in some way, and every result made sense for different reasons. Bryan Danielson and Shibata delivered a pay-per-view quality bout to kick things off. The Infantry picked up a surprising win. Julia Hart continued her winning ways, and Kyle O'Reilly made his return to the ring in a fantastic outing with Brian Keith. Even with some matches being short, it didn't feel like a single segment was weak. We saw a few storyline developments along the way also. The American Dragon and the Wrestler stole the show, but Lee Moriarty and Dana Garcia showed us why they are the next wave of great technical wrestlers in AEW. 7.5 to 8 out of 10. So, MF, in the immortal words of Cody Rhodes, what else do you want to talk about?
Good. Well, there's really not much else for us to talk about here tonight, but we'll say this. We got ourselves some good stuff coming up. At least next week, we got, obviously, tomorrow, we got the NCAA tournament. Anthony Florio will be hosting it. It will start at 6 p.m. sharp. Oh, maybe a little after 6, because they like to talk before they release the brackets. But we're gonna find out. Number 1 seed who are the teams that stand out going into the tournament. And then on top of that, once the bracket is completely out, which is about 7 o'clock, maybe a little after 7, that's when we'll dive into the bracket for the first time for the whole world, give our predictions, give our thoughts, tell us who we believe is going to win the national championship. Anthony Florio, it's gonna be so exciting tomorrow night.
Oh yes, and well, I'll tell you what. I mean, we had some surprising results today in the tournament and in the conference tournaments. MF. I mean, so many number one seeds going down. I mean, but then again, we saw some number one seeds go down even beforehand. I mean,
yeah,
Tennessee got blown away. Arizona got upset by Oregon in the Pac-12. Purdue got their hearts ripped out by Wisconsin today. Oh, what a game that was in the Big Ten semifinal. And of course, as MF was saying, North Carolina. What a story! What a story, NC State, man. I mean, everybody knows how much I love underdog stories, and I, for one, couldn't be any happier for those young men of the North Carolina State Wolfpack. 5 games in 5 days? Are you kidding me? They went ahead and did that. Unbelievable. So, and MF, as you eloquently said it on that call, we've seen history made here tonight. When you said that, and I got the goosies, and 5 games in 5 days, the North Carolina State Wolfpack are the ACC tournament champions for the first time since 1987. What a story. And I'll be interested to see where they end up on the selection show there. And of course, those bubble teams that are going to be sweating it out, and who are going to be the ones. And I'll tell you what, if I had to put my money down right now, I think the UConn Huskies are going to be the number 1 overall seed. I mean,
I think so.
I mean,
yeah.
With I think Purdue could still be a 1, even though they only lost by 1 point in overtime. Houston, oh boy, Houston, ooh, hoofa. They got blown away by Iowa State, so I don't know about Houston. Carolina losing to NC State. I mean,
they were the most vulnerable, if you remember. North Carolina was at number 4. They were the last number 1 seed, and they got upended, and it wasn't as bad of a blowout like
Houston, or Tennessee,
but they lost they almost lost by double digits. I think it was like 82-73 their game. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it I don't know. North Carolina was the most vulnerable of the remaining 1 seeds. Where do they fall? And then of course on the bubble, if you're wondering, and for all you fans out there, where does PC fall? Are they in the tournament? I said they needed at least maybe 2 wins in the Big East tournament to get in. They got it, but did they get enough? Did they do enough in the eyes of the committee to get in the tournament? I think that's going to be a very close call. To me personally, they're in that level of either the last 4 in, or they're one of the first 4 out. I think they're in that spot.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But let's set it up. Sometime around 6 or so, we will have our NCAA tournament. It will be the selection show. We're going to announce the selections live as they happen. Now, keep in mind, I have a device that's a little bit different from what MF and Bullock have. So I'm probably going to be a little bit behind them. So I'm going to have to ask you all to bear with me when we do that tomorrow night. So I'm going to be going off my end. So, but I know MF and Bullock will probably be seeing it before I do. So
yeah, I think we're like 15, or I think we're either like 15 or like 20 or 30 seconds ahead of you when it comes to that.
Right. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do know that but we're gonna get into it. And but right now, if I'm gonna be honest with you, right now, based on what I've seen over the last few days, if you're gonna ask me who I think the number one overall seed is, it's the UConn Huskies. That's it. So I think UConn's gonna get that number one overall spot. It'll be very interesting to see where everybody else ends up. We'll see where MF's Dukies end up. We'll see if PC somehow finds a way in, even though I don't know, especially with NC State winning. I don't know, that might have hurt them even more. So, but we'll see.
And not only that, but also keep a close eye because we might actually have a second Rhode Island team in the tournament. Right now, keep a close eye on Brown University. They're going to be playing tomorrow in the final for the Ivy League. They're going up against Princeton. If Brown wins that game, they get an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament.
Actually, it's Brown versus Yale.
Oh, Brown versus Yale.
Yep, Brown and Yale. So
keep a close eye on that too. We might have a second Rhode Island team in the NCAA tournament, depending on what happens with PC.
Yeah, we could have one, or we could have none at all. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But 6 p.m., sometime around 6 p.m. or so, myself, MF, hopefully Bullock will be with us. I'll announce the seedings and the pairings a la Greg Gumbel, like he usually would. And so I'll be announcing the matchups, doing my usual shtick during that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. And it's one of our biggest shows of the year. And we'll unveil the matchups, and then we'll get into we'll get into our predictions. Once the brackets are fully announced, then we'll get into our predictions here, and we'll do our round by round predictions, and then in the main event, we'll ultimately decide who we feel will be cutting down the nets come Monday night, April the 8th, at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. So we'll get into all of that tomorrow at 6 p.m. And with that, MF, hit him with the rest of the future content.
Then after we do Ridiculously Raw Monday night, as we continue on our road heading to on the road to WrestleMania. Wednesday night is Wednesday Night Madness. Thursday will be basically I guess we're doing TXN Sports World on Thursday, or are we holding that off till Friday?
Actually, I think it should be Friday because of the fact that there will be no AEW Collision on next Saturday because of NCAA tournament coverage.
So we'll do it on Friday, and then Saturday we'll cover the Smackdown, or because we're also going to be giving you some updates on the NCAA tournament as well. So we'll wait and see. Well,
it really should be Friday because of the fact that we have SmackDown, and I mean, well, it's up to you though. I mean, I don't know what you want to do.
We can do it. We'll figure it out. Once we get to closer to the week, then we'll figure it out, guys. So we're just gonna leave it right there and park it. So Thank you, Anthony Floyd, as always. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom. Share it with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. And until then, we will see you all tomorrow night for the NCAA selection special. Until then, be a friend, tell a friend, say something nice. You can actually change their life. And until then, so long, everybody, and goodbye.
Goodbye.